It's basically a lot of part-time work. It's not, on a smaller scale. And they employ a few people, or they employ 20 people, or whatever. It's not on a large scale, and there's a lot of places that don't need extra help. And so far, we've made it work so far. So, one place or another. Yes, I grew up in this community, Biddeford and Saco area. I was born on a farm, and it was not in the barn either. Ties back there were a little bit simpler. People had jobs. People knew basically everybody walking down the street. It was such a friendly community. And people were willing to help one another out as neighbors. Unlike today, a lot of people beside themselves. They have a neighbor, and that's it. That's as far as it goes. It's a neighbor, and they don't want to. They have a hard time saying hi to their neighbor. And I was brought up that somebody needs help, you help them, whatever it would be. I remember growing up in Saco, and it was a big neighborhood of 50 kids. And on summer vacation, if you were riding your bike through the neighborhood and one of the elders yelled out the window for you to stop for a minute, you better stop and find out what they want. And if they wanted something, like something at the store, they would give you 25 cents and you go get whatever they need and you bring it back. Because if you didn't do this, you would hear about it later. Word traveled quick in them days. People were very concerned about other people's children and how they were brought up. My mother was a very religious lady. I was brought up pretty much by the book, and my father was brought up with a school of hard knocks. He best well do what he says and ask without question, and that's how I was brought up. It worked out well. You don't question authority. It's a form of discipline. And you helped one another. And it helps strengthen one's inner being. And I don't think I'm any worse for it. And I know there's a lot of people out there just like myself growing up in the same fashion. And there's nothing wrong with that. Today it's a total new ballgame. It's faster, it's all computerized. You have cell phones. When I was younger, you had to walk a block to get a payphone, and you better have a dime on you for the phone. Today, it's in your pocket. You carry the cell phone, or you got a laptop or something like that. We used to have to go to libraries, and that's how we get our information. Or watch it on the National Geographic channel on TV, which we only had 3 stations. It's not like it is now. You have 180,000 stations, and people, the kids today, they like their computers. You don't see them outside playing. You don't get them outside in the fresh air. And there was plenty of that when I was growing up. And the mill was a big part of the area. Whether you lived in Biddeford or Saco, you can almost bet that you'd run across somebody who worked in the mill. And they were very friendly people, hard workers, willing workers, and there's nothing wrong with that. Well, and when you growing up in this community back then, a lot of the people that I know, a lot of my friends, they had little jobs working in the ice cream parlor or the soda jerks, working at the soda fountains, which later became obsolete. Grew up on the tail end of the big depressions. Learned to save a dollar. And I myself did not start working until I was 17. I was afforded that luxury of concentrating on my high school years and my studies and stuff like that. But when I did start, I started in the mills in Saco, on the Saco site, Saco Tanning, which was a leather manufacturer, and a lot of hard work there as well. But when you made money in my family, and for me, I had to put my money aside, keep it for things of use. I bought my first car. When I got my first paycheck, I went out and I bought myself a pair of boots, a little bit of clothes, and that was pretty much how I spent my money, as I needed it. And I'm sorry to say, but all the girls that I used to take out on dates and stuff, we'd have a hamburger at McDonald's or something like that. I wasn't a very big spending person. I'd take a movie, I get double features for $1, and popcorn. But other than that, I wasn't a big spender. People used to spend it. They'd go to amusement parks, go down to Old Orchard, but a lot of them, they kept it for their education, to further their education, to go to college. A lot of people that I knew saved their money. They weren't very spending, because money was hard to come by. Yeah, and one other thing that comes to my mind as growing up, we had a lot of nationalities we had to deal with growing up. And as a young person, I know segregation happened, or ended in about 1963. And I was growing up at that point, but I was very, very young. But as I got older, we had one neighborhood full of Irish people. We had another corner of the neighborhoods as Greeks. We had some Jews in another neighborhood, and we also had one or two Black American kids that we used to hang around with. And I grew up in a neighborhood of about 50 kids, and we never once, none of us, ever thought color of skin or another way of life, another nationality of any kind. We never thought that. We were all the same. We had one interest, and that was growing up. And we didn't have time to be prejudiced or biased toward them. There wasn't enough time in a day for that. And even today, I still see a lot of these people, and we talk a few minutes, and we reminisce a little bit, and we move on. And as I got older, working in the mills, the nationalities changed. Sure, we still had some Jews, we still had some Irish, and we still had some Greeks, but now we had some Lebanese, and some Serbians, and Afghanistans, and Vietnamese, and a lot of people have come over to this country to live, and by the same token, I find that as an experience to find out how one's lived in another country. And a lot of those people, they're very hard workers, very conscientious on what they do. And you couldn't ask for better people, a lot of them. And I'm glad I met a lot of them, because it was a very good experience. You have to take the prejudice out of the equation for one to grow and to get by. And I think a lot of people have grown bigger because of this. And the friendships that you make through that, they're lasting. They're very lasting. because these nationalities, they depend on people in the fashion. And you do your work, they do their work, everything is good. And they were very hard workers, a lot of these people. And as time grows older and on, I'm sure there'll be more nationalities coming through. And all I can say for people is to look past who they are and look at who they really are as a people, as a person. What can we learn from one another? My experiences growing in the mills, like I say, I was 17. I started in the mills in Saco, and I graduated to the mills through Biddeford. And that's 40 years of mill work that I've accrued. And I grew with the people in the community, knowing a lot of people, happy people, people that are glad to know you, willing to talk to you, willing to help you. And there's no feeling like that. You go anywhere, you know somebody. Even if it's a 5-minute conversation with these people, yeah, you know somebody. And you have a stepping stone from whatever year you came from. You know these people. The mills, you grew with a lot of, it was family, a lot of family. You weren't related, but you were family. And it was good times, it was bad times, and everybody worked through it. Everybody helped one another out with it. And we continued on. 40 years is a lot of years to go working at the mill without hitting any bumps. And I wouldn't trade that for the world.